Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the second session of High 2. Today we'll be covering pages 4 and 5. A Plato piece. Before we get started, let's check out some pictures. Okay, well, the first picture, gravy, gravy. Everyone, gravy is a kind of sauce, as you can see it here in the picture. So it is a kind of sauce, gravy. Picture 2, Providence, Providence. Providence is a city in the U.S. state of Rhode Island. Providence, a small city. Actually, Providence is the capital of the state of Rhode Island. Next one, curl your lip. Curl your lip. As you can see in the picture, she is just curling her lip. Curl your lip. Next one, heap. You see, everyone, this is a dish, a plate, okay, heaped or piled with food. Yeah, it is full. Yeah, it is full. Heap or pile. Heap or pile. Next one, steaming, steaming. Well, steaming means producing steam. Here, you can see just a bowl of steaming soup. You see steam just coming out. So, steaming, producing steam. Mashed potatoes. Mash and mashed potatoes. Here you can see some mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes. So mashed potatoes and mashed potatoes. Well, a wrecking ball, everyone. A wrecking ball. This is a wrecking ball. As you can see, it's made of metal. We use it to knock down buildings and apartments. Next one, steak. You see, steak. It is a piece of meat or a piece of fish. Steak. Well, I'd like to share another picture. Yeah, this one. Okay, everyone, you see, lean. Yeah, lean. When you just lean forward, someone, yeah, you just face them, you move forward, lean. Okay, so back to our book, A Plato piece. Number 1, it took place at the Biltmore Hotel, which to my 8-year-old mind was just about the fanciest place to eat in all of Providence. My grandmother, my mother and I were having lunch after a morning spent shopping. I grandly ordered a Salisbury steak, confident in the knowledge that beneath that fancy name was a good old hamburger with gravy. When brought to the table, it was accompanied by a plate of peas. I do not like peas. I didn't like peas then. I have always hated peas. It is a complete mystery to me why anyone would voluntarily eat peas. I did not eat them at home. I did not eat them at restaurants, and I certainly was not about to eat them now. So, everyone, the story is titled A Plate of Peas. So, it took place at the Biltmore Hotel. Take place means happen, occur. So, our story took place, it happened, it occurred at the Biltmore Hotel, which to my 8-year-old mind was just about the fanciest place to eat in all of Providence. So, our storyteller, everyone, our narrator is Rick, the boy, the young boy. Back then, Rick was 8 years old, and they were at the Biltmore Hotel in Providence. Providence, remember I shared the picture, is the capital city of the U.S. state of Rhode Island. So this hotel was the fanciest place. Fancy means expensive, everyone. Fancy. Place here means a restaurant. So the Biltmore Hotel was the most expensive restaurant, the best place to eat in all of Providence, the city. My grandmother, my mother and I were having lunch after a morning spent shopping. So, I here, everyone, is our narrator, that is Rick. So, Rick, his granny and his mom were at this hotel. They were eating lunch, and before lunch, they had been shopping. So, after a morning spent shopping means they had been shopping before they went to this hotel for lunch. I grandly ordered a Salisbury steak. Remember, grandly is an adverb. It means impressively, grand and grandly. So, Rick, everyone, ordered a Salisbury steak, a piece of meat, confident in the knowledge that he was sure that, he knew that, he was certain that beneath that fancy name was a good old hamburger with gravy. He knew that beneath, under that fancy, that expensive name, was a good hamburger with gravy. Again, this is gravy, a kind of sauce, and we had a picture. So, Rick wanted to have a hamburger with gravy. When brought to the table, when my food, my dish was brought to the table, when the waiter or the waitress brought my food to the table, it was accompanied by a plate of peas. My food, my dish, was accompanied by a plate of peas. They brought me a plate of peas too. Okay, the company. I do not like peas now. So Rick doesn't like peas. I didn't like peas then. He didn't like peas that time, back then, that time. I have always hated peas. So everyone, Rick has always hated peas. It is a complete mystery to me. Mystery, means something strange and unknown. So, It is a complete mystery to Rick. He doesn't understand why anyone would voluntarily eat peas. Voluntarily, everyone, means willingly, without being forced. So, Rick doesn't understand why people eat peas willingly, without being forced. He can't understand why people love peas. After all, he thinks peas are wretched, awful. I did not eat them at home. So Rick didn't have peas at home. I did not eat them at restaurants. Rick didn't eat peas at restaurants, and I certainly was not about to eat them now. And he certainly, he definitely wasn't going to eat them now. Everyone, was not about to. Well, we say be about to do something. Be about to do something. It means be going to do something. For example, I'm about to read out the second paragraph. Means I'm going to read out the second paragraph. We're about to have a discussion, which means we are going to have a discussion. She was about to meet her grandfather. She was about to meet. She was going to meet. Alright, number 2. Eat your peas, my grandmother said. Mother, said my mother in her warning voice. He doesn't like peas, let him alone. My grandmother did not reply. But there was a glint in her eye and a grin set to her jaw that signaled that she was not going to be thwarted. She leaned in my direction, looked me in the eye, and uttered the fateful words that changed my life. I'll pay you $5 if you eat those peas. I had absolutely no idea of the impending doom that was heading my way like a giant wrecking ball. I only knew that $5 was an enormous, nearly unimaginable amount of money, and as awful as peas were, only one plate of them stood between me and the possession of $5. I began to force the wretched things down my throat. Alright, well, eat your peas, my grandma said. So, who ordered the peas, everyone? It becomes clear that Granny ordered the peas, and he asked Rick to have them. Eat the peas. Mother, said my mother in her warning voice. You know, when we warn someone, we tell them about something dangerous, something bad that is about to happen. So, mother, said my mother in her warning voice. And by the way, his mom's name was Ellen, I think. Yeah, Ellen. Well, he doesn't like peas. Leave him alone. So, mom continued, he doesn't like peas. Rick doesn't like peas. Leave him alone. Don't annoy him. Don't bother Rick. My grandmother did not reply. She didn't answer. She said nothing, everyone. But there was a glint in her eye and a grin set to her jaw that signaled that she was not going to be thwarted. Remember, thwart means stop, prevent, or here we can say give in. So she wasn't going to give in. She wasn't going to quit. So there was a glint in her eye. It means she just looked confident and a grin set to her jaw. Again, a glint in her eye and a grin set to her jaw, everyone. They mean she was confident. She was kind of self-satisfied. She was sure of something. That signal means show something, that she was not going to be thwarted. So grandma looked confident and it signaled, it showed that she was not going to stop, to give in. She leaned in my direction. Grandmother leaned in Rick's direction. Remember lean? I'm leaning. Yeah, she did this. Yeah, lean. So Granny leaned in Rick's direction, looked me in the eye. She looked Rick in the eye and uttered the fateful words that changed my life. And grandmother said the fateful words. Fateful, everyone, means having important effects. Having important effects. So, she said the fateful words that changed my life. These fateful words, everyone, changed Rick's life. So, what were these fateful words, by the way? I'll pay you $5 if you eat those peas. Wow. So tempting, you see. So, Granny said she would pay Rick $5 if Rick ate the peas. I had absolutely no idea. So Rick, or let's say poor Rick, had absolutely no idea. He didn't know, he had no idea of the impending doom. Impending, remember, happening soon. Doom means a very bad situation. So, he had no idea of the bad situation that was heading my way like a giant wrecking ball. So, that was heading my way, that was likely to happen, that seemed likely to happen. Like a giant. Giant means big, enormous, gigantic. And remember the wrecking ball? I shared the photo with you. So, poor Rick didn't know that these fateful words are going to change his life. They are going to haunt him for years. I only knew that $5 was an enormous, nearly unimaginable amount of money. So, for an 8-year-old child, for Rick, everyone, $5 was an enormous, a big, nearly unimaginable, unimaginable amount of money. So it was a lot of money for an 8-year-old kid. And as awful as peas were, although the peas were awful, although the peas were wretched, although he hated peas, Only one plate of them, only one plate of peas stood between me and the possession of $5. Possession means having, owning. So he could have $5, everyone, if he ate a plate of peas. So there was just one plate of peas between him and having $5. Again, a tempting offer, suggestion. I began to force the wretched things down my throat. So poor Rick started to eat. He started eating. And of course, remember, he said, I don't like peas, I didn't like peas, and I wasn't about to eat them. Because it was kind of tempting, he began just forcing the peas, the wretched peas down his throat. All right, paragraph 3. My mother was livid. My grandmother had that self-satisfied look of someone who had thrown down an unbeatable trump card. I can do what I want, Ellen, and you can't stop me. My mother glared at her mother. She glared at me. No one can glare like my mother. If there were a glaring Olympics, she would undoubtedly win the gold medal. I, of course, kept shoving the peas down my throat. The glares made me nervous, and every single pea made me want to throw up. But the magical image of that $5 floated before me, and I finally gagged down every last one of them. My grandmother handed me the $5 with a flourish. My mother continued to glare in silence, and the episode ended. Or so I thought. Well, my mother was livid. So Ellen was very angry. She was irate. She was furious. My grandmother had that self-satisfied look of someone. So self-satisfied, everyone, means she was very pleased with herself. So grandmother had that self-satisfied look of someone who had thrown down an unbeatable trump card. Remember, trump card means an advantage, an upper hand. Unbeatable, beat means win. Unbeatable means can't be beaten, can't be defeated. And throw, through, and thrown. So grandmother played an unbeatable trump card. So she was the final winner. I can do what I want, Ellen, and you can't stop me. So who said this? Granny. So I can do what I want, Ellen. Ellen is Rick's mother, everyone. Rick's mother. And you can't stop me. So Granny was kind of proud of herself. She was self-satisfied. My mother glared at her mother. So Rick's mother glared at Rick's granny. Glare, remember, means glower. Look at someone angrily. She glared at me. Rick's mother glared at Rick. She looked at Rick angrily. No one can glare like my mother. So no one can look angrily like my mother, Rick says. If there were a glaring Olympics, if we had a glaring competition, she would undoubtedly, Ellen, my mother, would undoubtedly, certainly, absolutely, surely win the gold medal. So she was pretty good at glaring, guys. I, of course, kept shoving the peas down my throat. So, meanwhile, poor Rick continued pushing the peas down his throat. He just continued eating and having the peas. The glares made me nervous. His mother's glares made Rick nervous, anxious, agitated. And every single pea made me want to throw up. Everyone, throw up means vomit, bring up. So when we vomit or when we bring up, we bring food or drink up. Yeah, we think we are going to be sick. But the magical image of that $5, magical means enjoyable, interesting, exciting. Image means the picture he had in his mind. So the magical image of that $5 floated before me. Float means move. So Rick kept thinking about the $5 that his granny was about to give him. And I finally gagged down every last one of them. Every last one of them, everyone means every last one of the peas. So he finally gagged down. Gagged down means he just forced the peas down. He was kind of unable to swallow them. My grandmother handed me the $5 with a flourish. Okay, so grandma handed me the $5 with a flourish. With a flourish means with a confident movement. Here you go, she said, yeah, with a flourish. My mother continued to glare in silence. So Ellen was furious and she continued to glare at both Rick and her mom. And of course, she didn't say anything. It all happened in silence. And the episode ended. The story finished. Or so I thought. Or I thought it just ended. But of course, it was just the beginning. Yeah. Number 4. My grandmother left for Aunt Lillian's a few weeks later. That night at dinner, my mother served 2 of my old-time favorite foods, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Along with them came a big steaming bowl of peas. She offered me some peas and I, in the very last moment of my innocent youth, declined. My mother fixed me with a cold eye as she heaped a huge pile of peas onto my plate. Then came the words that were to haunt me for years. You ate them for money, she said. You can eat them for love. Oh, despair. Oh, devastation. Now, too late, came the downing realization that I had unwittingly damned myself to a hell from which there was no escape. You ate them for money, you can eat them for love. Okay. Well, my grandmother left for Aunt Lillian's a few weeks later. So, Rick's granny left for Aunt Lillian's. Everyone, Aunt Lillian's means Aunt Lillian's place, her house, her apartment. Yeah? God willing, we will study it in detail on page 6. For example, I was at my brother's. It means I was at my brother's place, house or apartment. So Granny went to Aunt Lillian's a few weeks later. That night, at dinner, my mother served two of my old-time favorite foods, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. So that night, Ellen served two of Rick's old-time favorite dishes. One of them was meatloaf and the other was mashed potatoes. Well, everyone, meatloaf, okay, now, yeah, this one. You see, this is meatloaf, everyone, meatloaf. It is meat, herbs, and other food mixed and baked together. And this is, everyone, in the shape of a, let's say, loaf. Okay, you see here, again, meatloaf, meatloaf, yeah, meatloaf. It is in the shape of a loaf. And I hope you remember mashed potatoes. Yes, okay, here we've got mashed potatoes. So, these two dishes, everyone, were Rick's favorites. Okay, so meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Along with them is together with them, in addition to meatloaf and mashed potatoes, came a big steaming bowl of peas. I hope you can remember steaming. Yeah, steaming means producing steam. So, everyone, meatloaf and mashed potatoes accompanied with a big steaming bowl of peas. She offered me some peas. My mother offered me some peas, and I, Rick, in the very last moment of my innocent youth, and I, while not wanting to hurt my mother's feelings, not intending to annoy her, to upset her, declined. I said no, I rejected, I turned it down. My mother fixed me with a cold eye. She just glared at me. She gave me a dirty look, as while she heaped a huge pile of peas onto my plate, and she filled my plate with peas. Remember the picture, heap, a huge pile. Everyone, heap or heap up or pile means to put a lot of things on top of each other. It means Rick's plate now was filled with peas. Then came the words that were to haunt me for years. Well, haunt means to continue to cause trouble. Well, then came the words, then she said some words that continued to bother me, to have problems, to cause me problems for years. What were the words? You ate them for money, she said. You ate peas because of money, for $5. You can eat them for love. Now, if you love me, you have to eat them. Oh, despair. Oh, devastation. So, everyone, Rick felt desperate. He felt hopeless. He felt shocked and upset. Now too late, it was too late, came the downing realization that now I got it, I understood that, I realized that I had unwittingly damned myself to a hell. I had unwillingly, unknowingly, unwittingly damned myself to a hell. Well, if you damn yourself to a hell, you just cause trouble. It means everyone. She was in. Rick was in hot water. He had put himself into trouble, from which there was no escape, and he couldn't escape it. So it was all his bad. You ate them for money, you can eat them for love. So you ate the peas for money, you can eat them for love. Number 5. What possible argument could I muster against that? There was none. Did I eat the peas? You bet I did. I ate them that day and every other time they were served thereafter. The $5 were quickly spent. My grandmother passed away a few years later, but the legacy of the peas lived on, as it lives on to this day. If I so much as curve my lip when they are served, because after all, I still hate the horrid little things. My mother repeats the dreaded words one more time. You ate them for money, she says. You can eat them for love. All right. So, what possible argument could I muster against that? Well, argument, everyone, here means reason. Muster, produce, say. So, Rick couldn't think of any arguments, any reasons against that. There was none. There was no argument. There was no reason. Did I eat the peas? You bet I did. You bet means, of course, sure. I certainly did. I ate them that night, so he ate the peas that night, and every other time they were served thereafter. Thereafter means later, afterwards. So, and every other time they were served, peas were served after that. The $5 were quickly spent. Rick spent the $5. My grandmother passed away a few years later. She died. She died. She passed on a few years later. But the legacy of the peas lived on. The legacy, the effect, the results lived on, continue, as it lives on to this day. And it continues until now, to this very moment. If I so much as curve my lip, so when they are served, when peas are served nowadays, I just curve my lip. Remember, curve my lip? It means I don't like peas right now, so it hasn't changed. When I see them, I just curve my lip, because after all, I still hate the horrid little things. Horrid little things means peas. By the way, horrid means wretched, terrible, awful. My mother repeats the dreaded words one more time. Dreaded means making you feel anxious and nervous. So his mother repeats the dreaded words. What are the words? You ate them for money, she says. You can eat them for love. Well, what a story. Okay, well, page 5, everyone, the exercises. 2D, read a plate of peas and choose the best answer to complete the sentences 1 through 4. Number 1, Rick ordered B, a meal with an expensive sounding name. Okay, expensive sounding name, Salisbury steak. By the way, here, nutritious, everyone, means nourishing, healthy, good for you, nutritious. Number 2, Rick's mother and grandmother, C, disagree about whether he should eat the peas. Yeah. Whether means if. So Rick's mom and granny, they disagreed about that. Number 3, the fight, the argument over the peas was finally won by Rick's grandmother. Number 4, the writer hates peas now. So Rick hated peas and he still hates them. 2E, decide if the following sentences are true, T, false, F, or not given, NG. Number 1, the writer knows exactly why people choose to eat peas. It is false. Remember in paragraph 1, he says, it is a complete mystery to me why anyone would voluntarily eat peas. So he doesn't know why people love peas. Number 2, he did not know what was going to happen to him when he was offered the money. It is true. So it says here, I had absolutely no idea of the impending doom that was heading my way like a giant wrecking ball. So he had no idea. Number 3, the writer believes no one can glare as well as his mother does. So this is true. Remember, he says, okay, let me, if I can find it. Yes. If there were a glaring Olympics, she would undoubtedly win the gold medal. So she was pretty good, or let's say really good at glaring. Number 4, his grandmother stayed at Aunt Lillian's for a few weeks. Well, in paragraph 4, we have Granny left for Aunt Lillian's a few weeks later, but we have no idea whether she stayed there for a few weeks or not, so not given. Number 5, he came up with a great disagreement, when he was offered the peas last night. Yeah. Remember, mom offered him some peas, and in the very last moment of his use, he declined. She just glared at him and heaped a huge pile of peas. Yes, true. Number 6, his grandmother died a few years later at Aunt Lillian's. Well, she left for Aunt Lillian's, but whether she died there, she passed away there or not, is unknown, is not clear. So, not given. Note, paragraph summary. Summary of a paragraph is usually the topic of the paragraph. In order to do these types of exercises, it is necessary to locate the topic sentence. Okay? You know topic sentence. By the way, locate means to find something. The topic sentence is either at the beginning, middle, or end of a paragraph. Sometimes, however, there isn't a topic sentence in a paragraph. In these cases, you need to read the paragraph thoroughly or thoroughly, completely, carefully to find the right choice. So, everyone, the summary of the paragraph is its topic, yeah. And in order to find the topic, you need to find the topic sentence. And remember, topic sentence is usually at the very beginning of the paragraph, yeah. Of course, it can be in the middle or at the end. All right. Exercise 2F. Match paragraphs 1 through 5 with the best summary A through F. There is one you don't need to use. A. Rewarding good behavior. Reward, everyone, means give a reward. Give a reward. So it was paragraph 3, the $5 bill, if you remember. B. Mother makes her son eat the peas. It was paragraph 4, she piled up. And C. Paying the check. Check, everyone, here means bill. Yeah? When you go to a restaurant, you ask for the check. So this is extra, we don't need it. Peas for life. For life means forever, for good, permanently. So it is number 5. E. Expecting a tasty meal. When you expect something, you're ready to say it. Tasty means yummy, delicious, or delish. It was paragraph number 1. F. Grandmother wins the argument convincingly. The argument means the disagreement. Convincingly, you know the verb form convince means persuasively. Convincingly, persuasively. 2G. Look at this excerpt from the story. Match the underlined words with their meaning. Well, everyone, excerpt means extract. It means a short piece taken from a book, I don't know, a poem or something. So, this is an extract, everyone, or an excerpt from our story. Take a listen. I, of course, kept shoving the peas down my throat. The glares made me nervous, and every single pea made me want to throw up. But the magical image of that $5 floated before me, and I finally gagged down every last one of them. My grandmother handed me the $5 with a flourish. So, which word, everyone, means move slowly? So, move slowly, float. With gentle, nice movements, float. Which one means confident movement? Well, or with a confident movement, everyone, with a flourish. With a flourish means with a confident movement. Which one means unable to swallow? Unable to swallow. Okay? Unable to swallow, everyone, Gag down, unable to swallow. Uh, Push forcefully. Which word or which phrase means push forcefully? Of course, it is shall here. Shall push forcefully. And E, a long, angry look. It is a noun here, so it is glad. Well, this is the end of our second episode. Thanks for accompanying us. Remember to rewatch the video, prepare summaries of the text, and well, that's it. Okay, until next time, everyone, have a good one. Take care.